My favorite day of the year has finally arrived. And here we go. Happy Halloween, everybody, and welcome back to Halloween Horror Reviews 2024. Guys, I cannot believe that we are at the last review of Halloween Horror Reviews 2024 and the last day of October. Where am I? Oh my god. I know I've been saying this with every single video, with every time I've been doing Halloween Horror Reviews, period, but guys, thank you all so much for watching Halloween Horror Reviews for this specific year. I had such a great time doing reviews for y'all this month, whether it was all the movies I've covered, the games I've covered, the live streams I did with Mr. Garrison. Knowing that this is the final review for this year's reviews, I'm honestly a bit sad because I love doing this every single year, and truth be told, guys, Halloween Horror Reviews every single year brings me such joy and such happiness. But hey, you know what? As they all say, all good times must come to an end, but in the case of Halloween Horror Reviews, for now, we're just going away after this. For now. If y'all have been following Halloween Horror Reviews since, I want to say, 2021, you will all know that with every Halloween review, I have been covering a particular installment of one of my favorite franchises of all time, and that is the Universal Classic Monster films. Moving on to the final review of Halloween Horror Reviews 2024, I'm here to talk about 1933's The Invisible Man, directed by James Whale. In the events of The Invisible Man, we follow a scientist portrayed by Claude Rains who, after an experiment, he has turned invisible unless if he were certain things to actually show himself. However, after this experiment, it is revealed that this experiment has left him going insane and a little mad as he starts to plan a reign of terror. Before I continue on with today's video, I just wanted to say welcome to my channel, everybody. For those of you who are coming by my channel for the very first time, be sure to hit the subscribe button to them as a future video. It's a future review, a reaction, a top 5, or whatever I've coming your way, and join me on my journey to 10K subscribers and beyond, because believe me when I say this, guys, you are not going to miss the cool stuff I have coming your way. And for those of you coming back to my channel, welcome back, everybody. You have no idea how happy I'm to see your faces once again. Alrighty, guys, so let's get into The Invisible Man. Damien! Wow. The Invisible Man. If I can recall correctly, I don't even think I saw The Invisible Man until I was maybe 10 or 11 years old, as when it came down to my love for the Universal Monster movies as a kid, the ones that I rewatched the very most were, as y'all can imagine, Dracula, Frankenstein, even the Bride of Frankenstein, Creature from the Black Lagoon, The Wolfman. The thing that finally pulled me into watching this movie was knowing that I was seeing somebody on a movie that was becoming invisible, you know, special effects. Not that Frankenstein already didn't do that, because it used special effects and it was a science fiction from a different regard. But knowing that The Invisible Man was a movie that was following a character that was, well, you know, invisible, that was the reason why, if I can recall correctly, that it was why I saw this movie finally when I was just over 10 years old. It is just absolutely insane to see how visual effects have come since The Invisible Man going into the modern era. I mean, it's freaking crazy to see how visual effects, CG has all come across ever since. Almost 100 years ago, if you can believe that, guys. Watching this movie as a 31-year-old, I was really curious to see how this movie would hold up, not only just in terms of course, as it being, you know, a Universal Monsters horror film, but regarding its special effects. This movie has aged so gracefully like a fine wine. There is only one performance that I have to mention, and that is Claude Rains as the Invisible Man. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard after doing some research that this was Claude Rains' film debut, because I believe he did Broadway before doing major or just doing film in general. Claude Rains really did make such an impression with this movie. This is a movie, guys, in which for I want to say about 8% of the time that you do not see Claude Rains. You legitimately only get to see Claude Rains in the final sequences of this movie. So what do you get to see Claude Rains in instead? Bandages and some clothing, and maybe in some regards other like household objects like blankets and other specific things. Claude Rains really brought out the theatricality of his performance, especially in certain sequences where you really have to just feel his menace at times in his monologues. Not only showing a side of this terrifying menace with his theatricality, but in some spots, some really nice and surprisingly good humorous moments too in this movie. Claude Rains is seriously great in this movie. I loved in this movie so much. What a brilliant and a fun and a terrifying performance of that too. Another thing in particular that I gotta talk about when it comes to this movie is James Whale's directing. James Whale, if you remember correctly, guys, he not only directed The Bride of Frankenstein, but also Frankenstein as well. James Whale, if you ask me, is the best director to have helmed the Universal monster films, because here's the thing. It's like that James Whale wanted to elevate the Universal monster films, especially in the way that these films do the horror genre, specifically in the different types of how they do horror film. The subject of horror in Frankenstein is the horrors of playing God and the repercussions of what playing God may do. Specifically in Frankenstein, a guy wanting to bring back a corpse from the dead, but unfortunately that corpse just, well, does some bad things and results in a lot of deaths happening. The horrors of the Invisible Man, however, show a man in his quest for fame, wealth, and power, and as a result of that quest of fame, power, and wealth, it shows the degradation of his insanity and the horrors of that quest. What we have here as a result is a movie that is not only packed with so much tension, with some genuinely great scares, but also a movie that actually at some points has some really good humor in there that I was not expecting at all. And the way that James Whale directs this movie going into the horror genre this specific way, I thought was just absolutely genius. This is a movie in which the visual effects still hold up to this day. There are effect shots in this movie into which I still don't know how they pull them off. I'm gonna have to do some more research after filming this review, but man, the visual effects in this movie, especially when you first see Claude Rains removing all the bandages and see him slowly revealing himself to be, invisible. That whole sequence still looks amazing to this day. And not to mention as well, guys, besides the special effects, something else I gotta mention that really impressed me were all the miniature effects. Now, I don't know how they did these things, but there are specific set pieces in this movie where not only a train goes off course, but you see a car exploding in such great wide shots, by the way. There are certain set pieces of this movie that legitimately made me go, how did they pull this off back then? It's freaking insane what they accomplished in this movie. Another thing that I gotta mention, and I will do this briefly because I do have to mention this really quick, that's the movie's musical score, in particular the main theme. I really dug the musical score, the main theme of The Invisible Man, as I think it's a track that does not get enough love. Like, it is a great track. The Invisible Man isn't really much of a horror film. I mean, there are some pretty suspenseful and thrilling set pieces that have loads of tension to them, but this movie, stripped down to the core, to the bone marrow, what is this movie? It's a science fiction movie. This is a great sci-fi film with great horror elements that are sprinkled in. And the way that James Whale weaves these two elements together is just simply put, genius.
Happy purge, you old fuck!
When it comes down to my issues for The Invisible Man, there's only one issue that I have, and it's not only an issue, it's literally the tiniest nitpick. I mean, the tiniest nitpick here, guys, and that is this. This movie isn't necessarily a scary film, but really, this movie need to be like shit your pants scary? No, it didn't. Do I mind that this movie isn't necessarily scary? Absolutely not. So overall, not only is The Invisible Man a great science fiction film with horror elements sprinkled in, but it is also a great, and I mean it is a great film. All in all, I'm gonna give The Invisible Man a 5 out of 5. If you're looking for not only a great horror film to watch, but a great science fiction film to watch this Halloween, today meaning, look no further. This movie is a great film and it is a classic. Not only is that going to wrap it up for my review of The Invisible Man, but that is also going to wrap it up for Halloween Horror Reviews 2024. Thank you all so much for watching this series of reviews. I had such a great time making them. They were an absolute joy to make, and I really hope you guys enjoyed watch them as much as I had fun making them for you all. As they always say, all good things, in this case, must come to an end for now. I hope you enjoyed my review of The Invisible Man. If so, please hit the like button, or if you dislike the review, hit the dislike button. If you guys want to see my previous review, please hit right there, or if you guys want to see my playlist for my reviews for Halloween Horror Reviews 2024, please hit right there. And of course, guys, until my next review video goes live, I'll see you all next time, and happy Halloween, everybody.